We don't know, I guess, officially what's going to happen with the greatest center of all time, one of the most sexy men to ever exist, Jason Kelce. He addressed the message that he sent to the locker room after losing this past weekend, getting leaked pretty much, and the big fella gets a little emotional, I will say. Here's Jason Kelce talking about his future in football on the New Heights podcast.
Nick kind of gave me an opportunity to talk. I didn't announce what I was doing on purpose, despite, I guess, what's been leaked to the media. I just don't think you're in a position after a game like that to really make that decision. I just don't. There's too much emotion in the moment to really fully grasp that decision. I'm not trying to be dramatic and continue to draw this thing out. I'm really not. It's just something that I think, when it's time to officially announce what's happening in the future, it'll be done in a way that's, definitive and pays respect to a lot of people and individuals that have meant a lot to me and has led to the career I've had. I don't think that it would be respectful or even accurate to be able to do that right after a game like that.
Yeah.
But I did address the team and pretty much said the same thing that I just said to you, which is, I got belief in every single one of you guys. Cherish the moment you have in this league. A lot of guys if that is your last game, I feel sorry for you. And I'm like, don't feel sorry for me, motherfucker.
Oh, no.
Hell yeah, brother. Hell yeah, man.
Oh, Jason Kelce. Don't feel sorry for me. I've had and he was about to say a phenomenal career.
Yeah.
A phenomenal career.
Of course.
And they start thinking back on all the moments. And then whenever he was saying, to do it the right way, is like to thank his Little League coach, obviously his parents, his brother, I assume, high school coaches, state of Ohio, University of Cincinnati, the whole thing, everybody that's kind of affected his life. So I assume he feels a certain type of way about not being able to do it his own way. We talked to Mitch Morse yesterday, and he basically sang his praises. And I even mentioned to Mitch Morse that you're a D1 hater, and you even sang Jason Kelce's praises. He's a guy. He's been the guy. And what did the Eagles team... What do they lose whenever he's gone? And what has Kelce's career kind of been like from your point of view as a guy who's basically been there the same, right? I mean, he's our age, I think.
Yeah, he is. He's a year younger. So 2010, I was in Philly when literally they drafted him. So I got to watch him his rookie year and have the utmost respect for what this guy does, what he means, what he stands for as a player, as a person. He's unbelievable. Got a signed jersey from him, and I think it means the world to me, right?
Oh, you got his autograph.
That's sweet.
It's
pretty awesome.
You got Jason Kelce's autograph?
You guys do a swap?
Well, we did, but here's the deal.
He asked for yours?
I mean, it's kind of like a little center thing, right? Like a little center.
Yeah. Oh, that's
Wow.
Nice.
I didn't know he asked. Yeah. He's asking for your.
I don't know if it's up on a wall. I know it's up on my wall. But
It's
cleaning rag.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's right.
better
Yeah.
with it.
Yeah,
Might be using it as a rag on his car.
In the
It's
toilet,
Okay.
yeah.
Which is okay. But I mean, he's unbelievable. And some people were posting some highlights. I saw on Twitter yesterday. He's so good, and he's been so good for so long. And he's been durable. He's reliable, and he goes to work. You see the knee brace on him. I mean, he's obviously a little banged up at the end of this year. He just plays and plays and plays and plays his ass off.
He's an old-ass man now at this point, D-Butt. And whenever we got to watch that documentary on Amazon Prime, which I think was their most watched documentary of all time, they're also getting more into the sports. I think they bought all the Bally Sports.
Bingo, like 37. Yeah.
I think there's a lot of negotiations happening right now, okay? And I got to catch the beginning of most of those conversations whenever I was doing my conversations on where – we were going to take the show potentially home, and all the future ideas were certainly a part of all those conversations that I got to be a part of. Now we're kind of seeing it unfold. That is the NFL media one that has been negotiated by everywhere. That's a huge deal.
That's the one.
That's a huge deal. But I think there's a chance that the people that were potentially in on that and others are going to try to do. So the Bally Sports deal, good deal for Amazon. Feels like if you want to get into sports and you're able to have all the local casts everywhere, that feels like a smart play. And for Bally's, they were, because I think I even had conversations with the people that own that potential network. They were trying to figure out how they were going to survive as well.
Right.
That feels like a very, very good relationship. Go ahead, Tone.
That'd be really cool if they could put on Amazon, because we can't watch. I don't even know if Bally's is in Pittsburgh, but we can't watch the Pens games.
So
unless
ESPN
they're
Plus.
unless they're on ESPN or Pirates games or whatever. I'm just saying, if you could be out of state and go on Amazon and watch where you're from, locals teams games, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, it feels like that's probably where they're headed. I think MLB and NBA big for the Bally's.
Correct.
Yeah,
I
for
think
sure.
that is where it's at. Not the NHL. I think the ESPN Plus deal was a massive one, and you have the opportunity to do that. But on that documentary that we watched on Prime with Kelce, it's like you saw him hang out with his family. And you saw him like with his daughters and like appreciating that time. And he talked to us about how, if he feels like he can still be a player and still have that time and enjoy it all, that was going to go into the conversation. When you have to retire, and you saw him get choked up, it's not easy at all.
No.
Especially for guys that are GOATs, guys that are going to be first ballot Hall of Famers, guys that played 9 years are appreciated by everybody that they played alongside. That's not an easy decision to make at all. Yesterday, while we were talking about it, like obviously we had to talk about it because it was headlines everywhere.
Yep.
It wasn't like we were the only people talking about it. But as I was doing it, I'm like, I wonder how Jason Kelce feels about this being how it is being talked about, his retirement. Not easy decision.
Not at all, especially with him. Obviously a great career. The height, won the Super Bowl, then lost the Super Bowl, came back this year. Obviously, it didn't end how he wanted to. But we're just wired, to compete. And at some point, like you said, don't feel sorry for him, because he had a great career. He reached those highs, got paid, all these different things. So definitely don't feel sorry for him. But regardless of where you are, 5-year career, 15-year, when you go and take that leap, it's a huge leap. And it's a tough transition for a lot of people for different reasons. So I'm sure it's some fear there as well. Then just not being in that locker room with your guys, especially the position he plays. Like, it's almost like another quarterback, in the trenches on both sides. So just the utmost respect for him. Obviously, insiders and guys, they got a job to do. They want to be the first to leak certain things. But a guy like this, I think
Who in that locker room leaked that, you think? Could have been anybody, I guess. Could have been trainer.
Yeah.
I mean, the game. It's a lot. Everybody's got moles and rats, and everybody's
Everybody
calls.
does.
We're learning more and more and more as we go, aren't we?
A lot
Players.
of fees out there.
Trainers, coaches, front office people. Like who knows where it can go.
Well, what do you get out of it? What do you get? Oh, you get a future narrative builder for you.
Yeah, some help down the road.
And that's whole scratch my back, scratch your back, but my back's located.
Oh, my.
Yeah, that whole situation that they
sure.
got going on there. Maybe he'll just focus full time on being a model too and being the sexiest man on earth, man.
Could do that. Could also focus on being, the greatest sports podcast out there right now. But you mentioned the doc. Like, as someone who didn't really know Jason Kelce as, a casual fan growing up, watching the documentary, he's just one of those guys that everyone loves, and it's easy to root for. But for you guys, like, how hard is it to retire when the message for a lot of the year, even when they're struggling, is like, hey, we're so close. Like, we are right there. We just have a couple plays where, we don't get the exact look or whatever situation it is. And especially when, your best player gets hurt for the playoffs. Like, how hard is it knowing in your mind, hey, this team could go on and win a Super Bowl next year again, just like last year?
So for me, vastly different story, I assume, than you guys. Yeah. I retired after a Pro Bowl, and I said, all right, I'm done. And I was okay with it. I was completely cool with the whole thought of it. I did think the team was going to continue to be great.
Yeah.
But I was just like, all right, I'll just cover the team. But I had no impact on whether or not we were going to win games. I could help. But if we're down 21 in the second half, I might as well have a seat in the front row. You know what I mean? Because I'm watching, like, hey, let's do this. So my happiness started being dependent upon how everybody else was. I was doing, this sounds so selfish, but it was like I was having my greatest. I was unconscious for a while, just like doing my job better than ever. And then I wasn't able to be happy though because we were losing. So it was like, for me, it was like, is it worth it anymore at my position to continue to do this? And it was a difficult decision, obviously, because you're taking a leap. And I've played competitive sports my whole entire life. So it's like, that has been my entire regimen. So I think that was the biggest thing for me. A lot of guys though get told when it's over. A lot of guys get told when it's over, like, hey, it's over because you're no longer good enough, which then guys get jaded towards the sport, towards the league, towards the team, because for the first time in their entire life, literally, if guys are playing 13, 14 years, they started playing when they're, 5, 6 years old?
Yep.
Now at this point, they're 37, 38, almost 40 years old, even older, I guess, than that, and they're being told, hey, you're not good enough anymore. That's the first time in their life in any competition where they've been told you're not good. So some people get a little bit jaded. Some people get very pissed off about that. Turns them off to the game. Some guys don't even watch the NFL or football for years afterwards because of how angry they are then inevitably they start coming back. You know, then inevitably they start coming back, and then they remember why they fell in love with football, and they understand nowadays that their knowledge of football can bring them a lot of money, and it can be a profession, and you don't have to just disappear and wither away, and your resume does matter and everything like that. But the medical one, the injury one, is the one that's tough.